Good morning. We have a special invitation today. Welcome to First Unitarian Universalist Church. We're trying out something new, and it's going to be okay. Trust us. So we're going to try out, instead of background music as folks enter, we invite you to greet others, find a good seat as you normally do, as well as we've provided extra coloring utensils on the side for adults or children. Crayons, colored pencils, and coloring sheets. There's also two small altar tables here on either side where you can write an anonymous prayer that'll be collected after the service, or you can light a candle for joy or sorrow anytime as you enter or during the service or on your way out as well. And then each week, the plan goes so far at least, we'll ring the bells. So our downtown churches all had bell towers to mark the beginning of services. We don't have a bell tower here, but we have this towering organ behind me that does have bells. So we'll ring those bells, and each week, like a call from our ancestors of past years of how they began services, that's your invitation to breathe and be present and find your spot. And then a prelude will center us in this space. And we'll still have announcements after that and all the usual things too for the important things in the life of our community. But we invite you to enter a little more gently and a chance to bring in whatever you're bringing with you, to light a candle or say a prayer or grab some crayons as you have a chance to chat with each other each week as we enter. So as we begin and ring in this new program year and this new practice, we begin with the organ bells. Dear friends, welcome. Welcome to First Unitarian Universalist Church, where we strive to be a congregation of compassion and justice, rooted in many sources of wisdom and many spiritual paths. Your faith, your doubts, your questions, your hopes, your identities are welcome here. believers in God and mystery, nature and love, queer and trans folks, immigrants and refugees, all of who we are and who we are becoming are held here as sacred. After service, join us down in the Commons for refreshments and conversation. Today and next week, we have special beginning of the year signups. We encourage you to find at least one way to nurture your soul and one way to serve the community, to sign up for at least one of each, because then you can enter a raffle with a ticket. You can also get a picture taken for our online church directory. You can sign up for Chalice Circles. You can sign up for the NAMI Walk for Mental Health on September 27th. And a special note is that we need more cooks in the kitchen on Wednesday nights. This is an essential point of community for many, especially young families and newcomers. So if you can help sign up for a monthly cook team, either making food beforehand and dropping it off, or helping serve or clean up, there's many ways to help. Please sign up for a Wednesday night cook team today or next week. We need you for that. Today at 12:15, the board and building team is hosting a forum in the Commons with important updates about our process for finding a new church home. All are welcome for the topics of updated design and real estate and more. So that's at 12:15 down in the Commons. And join us every Wednesday night for a free will supper, depending on how many of you sign up, just kidding, they'll do it anyway, but we could use a little more help. This week is a conversation after supper with our monthly justice partner, the Jeremiah Program, which we'll hear about in just a moment. Supper's at 5:30, programs including choir from 6 to 7, and childcare available too, so join us every Wednesday night. And each week our offering goes out our doors to support justice work in the community. September's justice partner is the Jeremiah Program, and Allie is here to speak about their work. Come on up.
Good morning, everyone. Thank you for having me. I am Allie Hatton-Ebert, and I am the Executive Director of Jeremiah Program here in Rochester. For those who are familiar with us, you know that we are a national organization who happen to have a campus here in Rochester. So we have 9 campuses across the country, and our work is rooted in disrupting poverty for single moms and our kiddos 2 generations at a time. We do that primarily through the lever of education, so offering barrier reducers and supports for our single moms so that college becomes a reality, right? Because we know that oftentimes our single moms are having to forego their dreams in order to provide for their family. And so Jeremiah Program exists in order to reduce some of those barriers, like stable and affordable housing and childcare, in order for moms to be able to prioritize those dreams. And so we are fortunate to have a beautiful building here in Rochester over by the Rack and Lourdes, right across the street from there, where we can house families, but also families live safely housed in the community. And so our mission, as you can imagine, is not one that we are ever going to accomplish alone. And so we invite you all to join us in that mission, as you guys have in the past. And so I'll be downstairs afterwards if you guys have any questions, but grateful to be here. Reverend Luke is one of our board members and has been an amazing asset to our team. But thank you for inviting me, and I appreciate the time.
Thank you, Allie, for that work and for being here. You can give as the plates pass or anytime online. The entire collection today will go to that work in our community. Thank you. So I invite you to take a breath as we gather for worship in these words from our minister in the 1870s, the Reverend Eliza Tupper Wilkes. May our faith in humanity and our message of hope and good cheer light our way. It's good to be together. In just a moment, the opening hymn, Over My Head, will call us back, and we invite you to choose your own word for the sacred, as we often do here, whether it be God or Gaia or love, as we sing our spiritual diversity. But before we sing, I invite you to rise in body or spirit and give a greeting to those around you.
Over my head, I hear music in the air. Over my head, I hear music in the air. Over my head, I hear music in the air. There must be a God somewhere. I hear singing over my head. I hear singing in the air. Over my head, I hear singing in the air. Over my head, I hear singing in the air. There must be a God somewhere. I see trouble over my head. I see trouble in the air. Over my head, I see trouble in the air. Over my head, I see trouble in the air. There must be a God somewhere. I hear music over my head. I hear music in the air. Over my head, I hear music in the air. Over my head, I hear music in the air. There must be a God somewhere.
Our chalice words this morning were written by Ma Teresa Tet Gustillo Gallardo. We cast not our eyes below. We say to ourselves, we are how we came. Wounded from struggles, triumphant in our survival, entitled by birthright to belong to this, the only humankind there is. Saying, I am included, I belong, I am here, and I will be and do. I will breathe joy into a desolation. I will breathe peace into conflict. I will breathe life into destruction. I will be the earth I wish to see. I am growth and hope and glee.
This next song, I'm guessing many of you probably are not familiar with it, so I'll just give you a little context. El pueblo unido jamás será vencido translates to the people united will never be divided or defeated. It's a popular chant heard at rallies. It's a Chilean protest song released in 1975, and it was composed by Sergio Ortega, written in conjunction with the folk music group Quilapayún, and the song's chorus features that popular chant adopted by socialist protesters during the 1970s. The song was recorded in 1973, just 3 months before Augusto Pinochet's coup d'etat overthrew the Marxist president Salvador Allende, and beginning Pinochet's military dictatorship lasting until 1990.
In gratitude, we'll receive the offering.
Living in the United States, we're often brought up on the idea that rugged individualism or survival of the fittest is really the way to go. But we know that that's not the case. We know that we are ultimately better together. As it says in today's book by Bill McKibben, illustrated by Stevie Lewis. The human game is actually a team sport. It took a band, a clan, a community to raise humans to adulthood. We hunted together in groups. And with our complex language, we're able to keep track of one another. Because when we work together, we can do incredible things. We can harness the power of the sun. We can reforest the land. We can help lost sea turtles find their way to the ocean. We can explore the farthest reaches of space. And looking back, we can see how we are changing our planet. It is a beautiful, fragile place, worthy of protection. We can accept with grace that each of us has a moment and a place, and that our humanness is important. We have the tools to allow us to stand up to the powerful and the reckless, and we know the value of love. It is this love that works to feed the hungry. It is this love that comes together in defense of sea turtles and sea ice and all else around us that is good. It is love that lets each of us see we are not the most important thing on earth and makes us okay with that. It is love that welcomes us imperfect into the world. We live on an unbearably beautiful planet, a planet that needs humans to play together and to cooperate. And we're capable of acting together to do remarkable things. So we'd better get started pretty soon. While Rose plays the children's benediction, I invite the children to join me over here. The lyrics can be found in the back inside cover of your hymnal.
When I was in 7th grade, I attended a conference that changed my life. And I'm not being hyperbolic or dramatic. It really did shift the path that my life was taking. The conference was put on by the Girl Scouts of America at a big convention center somewhere in Wisconsin. It had a famous keynote speaker, Robin Robinson from Channel 9 News in the Twin Cities, if anyone remembers her. Breakout sessions focused on leadership and the general girl power feel that was so prevalent in the 1990s. At the beginning of a session focused on medical careers, the presenter gave us all a Band-Aid and had us put it on our pointer finger of our dominant hand. She told us, just leave it and we'll talk about it later. At the end of her presentation, she asked if any of us changed how we used our pointer finger. Many people, me included, said that we just stopped using it and had other fingers pick up the slack. Her overall lesson was related to the profession of physical therapy. She said that we all perceived that we were injured because of the bandage, so we stopped using that area altogether, even though we were totally fine. She said physical therapy helps you learn how to safely use an injured body part in order to heal. At least that's how I remember it. In any case, from that day forward, I knew I was going to be a physical therapist. It was my guiding light all through high school and the beginning of college until I switched my major sophomore year. So it goes. The primary reason that this conference changed my life was not due to my early decision to be a physical therapist, although that was a great goal to work towards over the years. It was because of my geography teacher, Mrs. Hertel. One day after class, she offered me the opportunity to attend the conference, fully paid for by the school, which is what was needed for me to attend. She wanted me to go and be inspired by the sessions and the speakers. She wanted me to know that I can do more than I thought I could, and that I should never let my gender or socioeconomic class get in the way. Fast forward 30 years, and I'm at my niece's graduation party in my hometown, and who do I see across the lawn? You guessed it, Mrs. Hertel. I was so excited to see her, but also kind of nervous. I looked over and asked my son Jasper, if I go up to her, will she think I'm weird? What do I even say? And he just kind of looked at me and said, I don't know, your name and thank you. So I walked over and introduced myself. Hi, I'm Heather Vinge Hansen. Well, I was Heather Vinge at the time you had me in your class. In about 1992, 1993, geography. Not sure if you remember me. She said, of course she did. And we talked about my life since middle school and her life since she retired. And then I thanked her for being such a great teacher and for always encouraging me to do more and to be more. And then I cried, and she gave me a big hug. I'm sure everyone in this room has their own Mrs. Hertel who has shared this gift with you. They may have encouraged you when you were down, healed you in ways you didn't know you needed, lifted you up through the next day, hour, and minute, or gave you the break you needed for that job you always wanted. If we're open to it, there are so many people who can affect us in ways we never, ever thought possible. And I hope that if you have your own Mrs. Hertel, you're lucky enough to say thank you.
Give you some context for this next song as well. El derecho de vivir en paz translates to the right to live in peace. It was written by Chilean singer-songwriter Victor Jara, released in 1971. It was a protest song dedicated to Ho Chi Minh, and the lyrics criticize the Vietnam War and call for solidarity with all oppressed. Its lyrics declare, "Our song is the pure fire of love, the dove from the roost and the olive from the olive tree, the universal song, the chain that will triumph, and the right to live in peace."
Try to take a deep breath. Breathe deep the breath of life. Feel below you the earth and its ancient turning. Above you the sky, and beyond that the stars shining with their ancient light. You yourself made of earth and stars. Know that in this house you're named and known as beloved, as sacred. I invite you into this time of meditation, this time of prayer, first by sharing silence together. Spirit of life, source of love, God and Gaia of 1,000 names and beyond all naming. We seem to always find ourselves between too much and not enough. Too much news filled with violence and fear. Too much oppressive action by small-hearted leaders. Far too many guns in a culture that celebrates strength through force. Too much to try to hold, to do, to know, to piece together. And not enough. Not enough time for the soul or the heart to take it in. Not enough space between the cycles of this or that or yet another story of hatred or act of violence or demand of our time and attention toward what feels like impossible tasks for the heart. Help us find the space between. Held here between earth and stars, between this task and that obligation, between sun and storm, between yesterday and tomorrow. Help us find those places where we can pause and breathe between what was and what is yet to be. Help us notice what is and find the people or the places that let us dwell there a bit so that we might find our strength. We're grateful this day for all the ways that our congregation cares for each other and the world, in volunteering time and sharing resources, in sending cards or making calls or meals or pulling weeds or showing up for calls of justice in the community. We're grateful for beauty in all its ways, including today's flowers, shared by Kathy Huftaling and Matt and Jen Drobny in honor of Melissa and Eric Egler's 25th wedding anniversary on September 16. We hold in our hearts all those who are sharing and holding some joy this day, as well as those who are holding some sorrow. I invite you to bring the names of people and places you're holding in your own heart this day, in joy or sorrow, and silently or aloud now in this time, to speak their names. The names spoken and unspoken, may we all be held in love. These words of meditation are from Howard Thurman. Don't ask yourself what the world needs. Ask yourself what makes you come alive, and do that, because what the world needs is people who keep coming alive. May that be so. Amen. The hymn lyrics are in the inside cover of your order of service. I'm sending you light. I invite you to rise in body or spirit as we sing.
I'm sending you light to heal you, to hold you. I am sending you light to hold you in love. I'm sending you light to heal you, to hold you. I You'll never walk alone. I feel you deep within. So I'm sending you light to heal you, to hold you. I am sending you light to hold you in love. No matter what you feel or what you choose to show, I'm always there for you, so I want you to know. I'm sending you light to heal you, to hold you. I am sending you light to hold you in love. I walk the path with you. Go slow, dear one, don't hurry. I'll go just like you need to go. There is no need to worry. I'm sending you light to heal you, to hold you. I am sending you light to hold you in love. I'm sending you light to heal you, to hold you. I am sending you light to hold you in love.
Today's reading is an excerpt from When It Really Is Just the Wind and Not a Furious Vexation by Kyle Tranmere. The year I was born, the Soviet Union's early warning system malfunctioned, reporting 5 intercontinental ballistic missiles in flight, a preemptive nuclear strike. You may have heard this story. How a single lieutenant dismissed the signal as a false alarm that it was. But had he made a different call in that moment, had he seen those 5 ghost fingers as a fist, a mushroom cloud, the most dangerous cliche? I hold it in my hands and it becomes a bouquet, 1,000 stems leading to 1,000 worlds, in which cooler heads did not prevail, to 1,000 alternate universe versions of me, born in the year of the apocalypse. All these visions of who I could have been, and not a single hero, folk, super, anti, or otherwise. In one life, I wore a suit of armor and drowned in the river. In one life, I hoarded food and choked on it. In one life, the basement was so full of boxes of bullets, a tornado came and I had nowhere to go, no shelter. All these dead worlds, we tell the same stories, which is not to say that I never survive, just that my survival, in every reality where it's possible, never belongs to me. I see myself not a dual-wielding bandit warlord, just a neighbor sitting in another endless community meeting. And how many of our ancestors have already taught us, even after the world ends, there is work to do. I see myself in that work, not the leader, not a lone wolf, just another part of the pack. Because in every universe in which I am alive, it is because of other people. And I don't always like them, but I love them. In every universe in which I am alive, it is less because I could fight, and more because I could forgive, because I could cooperate, because I could apologize, because I could dance, because I could grow pumpkins in my backyard and leave them at my neighbor's door, asking for nothing in return. In every universe in which I am alive, I am holding a first aid kit, a solar panel, a sleeping cat. Never a rusty battle axe or a rocket launcher. Sure, maybe sometimes a chainsaw, but only for firewood. I am holding a cooking pot, a teddy bear, a photo album, a basketball, a bouquet of flowers. Survival is not a fortress, it is a garden. Survival is not a siren, it is a symphony. And yeah, we might fight for it sometimes, but survival is not the fight. It is the healing after. The soft hum of someone you trust applying the bandage. The feeling of falling asleep in a safe place.
So you'll see that this hymn is twice on your order of service. I'm going to sing in Spanish right now, and then later when we sing together, you guys can all sing in English. Profetiza, pueblo mío, profetiza una vez más, que tu voz sea el eco del clamor de los pueblos en opresión. Profetiza, pueblo mío, profetiza una vez más, anunciándole a los pobres una nueva sociedad. Profeta te consagro, no hallado de amor, y tu andar por la historia, sé fiel a tu misión. Profetiza, pueblo mío, profetiza una vez más, que tu voz sea el eco del clamor de los pueblos en opresión. Profetiza, pueblo mío, profetiza una vez más, anunciándole a los pobres una nueva sociedad.
Thank you. So I have an activity for you. In your order of service, you'll find it, if you haven't already, on the bottom inside cover. It's also up here on the screen. It's a self-made litany of survival. If it wasn't for blank, I wouldn't blank, or there wouldn't be blank, or we couldn't fill in the blank. There's 1,000 ways to fill in those blanks. If it wasn't for music, I wouldn't be centered this morning. If it wasn't for coffee, I wouldn't be talking to anybody, including you this morning. If it wasn't for Sandy, I wouldn't be telling you we need donations for dish soap, literally. If it wasn't for the dust of the road and the swirl of the sunset in my childhood mind, then my heart wouldn't have been moved to then stop in my tracks every time I would see the swirl of sunset and dust. If it wasn't for the heavy fog on one morning that caught the curiosity of a young child that led them to go into that magical grove of trees and marvel at mysteries to want to know more, then they would have been led to find more ways to explore and to then share that love with others, and then learn how to unfold the mysteries of those trees that led them to creating medicines, and then to studying and connecting with a love of nature and healing and how they are connected. So if it wasn't for the fog that morning, then perhaps the vaccines wouldn't have been developed and saved generations of people from illness. That miracle would have had to find another route. But that route was sparked by wonder of morning fog. If it wasn't for, and fill in the blanks with 1,000 words, then we wouldn't, what? If it wasn't for Deborah and Chris and Rachel and Megan and Frank and Betty and Phyllis and Linda and Carrie and Jenna and Parker and Marcus and David and Jan and Rob and Kendall and Victoria and. If it wasn't for them and so many others, I wouldn't be here now. This faith wouldn't have saved my soul in some way that matters deeply to my life. Who comes to mind when you fill in the blanks if it wasn't for them and them and them? If it wasn't for something or someone that you love, or in the words of Lucille Clifton, who wrote, "True, this isn't paradise, but we've come at last to love it, because something or someone that loves us each day tries to save us." Who or what is saving you? Not like in the eschatological afterlife sense for your eternal soul. We've got you covered for that with universalism. You're good. Whether you believe in some sort of afterlife or not, this faith it's all rooted in love. So let that go. But who or what has saved you in your life or is saving you in this world, this life? Maybe in some momentous, pivotal points in your life that you recall, or in tiny moments each and every day. It might be something that stops you in your tracks, reorients or resets your mind, your heart, or soul on any given day, recenters you, like the ringing of those bells that calls to you and says, "Hey, how is it with your spirit? What beauty, what mystery, what joy, what sorrow is tugging at your soul, and what is holding your heart together in a world that can shatter it too often?" We need things that break up the bluster and the noise in this world. Some reminder that enters, breaks in to reset us right in the middle of the incessant, increasing volume of the world, the violence of the world, each day far more than any of us could possibly hold in our hearts. What breaks in and reminds you you belong to the family of all things, or as we say here in churchy language, to the larger family of all souls? Who or what is saving your life? The poet writes, "I hold it in my hands and it becomes a bouquet, 1,000 stems leading to 1,000 worlds, 1,000 alternate versions of me and the universe." They write all these visions of who I could have been, not a single hero, folk, super, anti, or otherwise, which is to say that I survive, and my survival in every reality that is possible never belongs to me. My survival never belongs to me. The very word survive in various forms means to go beyond, to live beyond this or that or them. To survive something, in so many ways, is to live through or over, or beyond what might otherwise have taken life and meaning away. Rose pointed out in planning today's music that it seems many of the global justice songs are in E minor, apparently. We joked, apparently E minor is the international key of justice. And there's something odd and lovely about that, how we sing in the same key, or how today's poet says survival is not a siren but a symphony. It's about what we create with multiplicity, with many voices, with our beautiful and sacred expansiveness of diversity, of what it means to be human, to thrive and flourish, that it is not a fortress, but it is a garden. Survival has to be more than some hideaway bunker with all the things you need to last for as long as however you think you should. That story, also known as a lie, that we are saved by money and guns, stockpiles of falsified worth, is told over and over from the moment we're born. In the headlines, in our responses to fear, that we can shore up our security on our own from the harsh world. We know this country itself, founded on aspirations dripping with hypocrisy. We know we are, in fact, saved not just by ourselves, but by each other. Over and over again, by generosity and compassion and our neighbors, a resilient hope that keeps finding a way, a path when there's seemingly no way or path. The old labor song says, hearts can starve as well as bodies, so give us bread and give us roses. Give us nourishment for body and soul. Life is more than physical survival. We know this. More than protection and safety, the illusion of self-reliance, when individual skill or accomplishment or ability, which can be beautiful, strong things, is taken to some false extreme of complete self-sufficiency, that we can and do and have all the things, which we know is not true. We know that we only thrive and survive together, and we also struggle and we suffer together. This month, we're opening the year with a theme of belonging, which has to be more than some surface level, all are welcome. It has to be deeper and more honest, that we share certain values, love and justice, where certain values are not welcome. Absolutism, hatred, bigotry. To cultivate that hard, rigid ground of community, y'all, we know that work is messy. Even in the narrow little corner of our little church here, where we have mostly the same shared values, a lot in common, still super messy to create community sometimes. Finding how to thrive together in community. It takes work, reflection, learning, growth to be a place that's rooted in love and justice, where we strive to center the experiences of identities that are often excluded. It takes constant care from ourselves, reflection about each other, that leads us not to some complete and clear, all right, we've made it, we're now the beloved community, check. It doesn't happen like that. It's a messy process. In our religious history, we have a history, which is a goofy phrase, but we do, of taking whatever values, aspirations, and trying to perfect them. A hallmark of white supremacy culture we know is perfectionism and individualism, all wrapped up in a toxic little package. And among many of our spiritual ancestors, I mean, God bless them for trying, but we haven't figured it out either. They created many utopias that lasted mostly till winter of whatever utopia they were in. But in their practice of it, we'll give them some credit, they still learned something about survival, I know, about being interconnected, interdependent in ways that maybe they did not plan for. And if we're part of an interdependent web of existence, then when one strand is moved, stretched, adjusts, you feel it all the way through the web. We are not self-contained. And the only way we move toward liberation and the work of the Spirit, the work of belonging, it's not convenient or comfortable. Frederick Douglass put it this way: those who profess to favor freedom and yet depreciate agitation are people who want crops without plowing the ground. They want rain without thunder and lightning. They want the ocean without the roar of its waters. The struggle may be a moral or a physical one or both, but it is a struggle. He said, power concedes nothing without demands. When the work of the world seems impossible and hope is cloudy at best, what is calling you, inviting you, breaking through the noise like a song that is surviving over and beyond, as the word means? As we sang over our head, there is some music calling beyond our limited awareness. It's in E minor, maybe. And the poet says, in every universe in which I'm alive, it's less because I could fight and more because I could forgive, cooperate, apologize, Because I could grow pumpkins in my yard, give it to my neighbor, asking nothing in return. In every universe in which I'm alive, I'm holding a first aid kit and a solar panel and a sleeping cat. Never a battle axe or rocket launcher. A chainsaw maybe for firewood. I'm holding a cooking pot, a teddy bear, a photo album, a bouquet of flowers. Survival is not a fortress, it is a garden, they write. So what notes are you adding to the symphony? What are you holding in your hands? What tools for art or story or play or comfort or generosity? What blanks in these sentences, if it weren't for then? What have been filled in for you by ancestors? What blanks are you filling in now? There are enough to build a multitude of worlds in which together we survive. We'll sing together the hymn number 1016 in the Teal hymnal. I invite you to rise and body or spirit as they lead us. Invite you, as you're comfortable, to place a hand on your heart or toward the sky or earth in gratitude and breathe deep the breath of life. Go yonder, and gather the people. Give them not hell, but courage and hope. Give them something of the love you have found here, and tell all the people that love is our home. Amen.